Talking about IBL, I was curious to see how Real HDR would work with Arnold. This renderer built in inside 3ds Max and Maya, if I'm not wrong. I'm not an Arnold user, but I always found it quite appealing. So in Arnold, I assigned the environment setting with my HDR texture that actually is parsed by the bitmap map and is environment spherical mapping. Now there is the possibility to change the intensity from the output amount, since it's not really linked within a light, or to change the intensity. My favorite way is to work with the camera exposure. Now I have to say one thing about how a texture is imported. So if I export my first AXR picture, you see I have the frontal axis here, so I expect my light to be in this frontal axis. While when I render, the light is on the left, and if you see from the shadow, it's 90 degrees on the left. So this is related with UCS on how the X and Y axes are rotated. So here the trick, instead of rotating the light, since I don't have a light, I just use the offset on the U axis of the map, on the U coordinate of the map. So in this way, every 0.25, actually every quarter, is 90 degrees. And as you see now, the light and the shadows are consistent with the direction of my light. Now, what I don't like about Arnold, or especially about this this workflow, is that in Arnold, you see here in the menu, I had flash caches, where if I flash my cache, I have the new version. I was not able to find it here. I tried to change the cache size, so probably I'm doing something wrong, because I repeat, I'm not an Arnold user, and probably I'm missing something. But every time I need to flash the cache. So one example is here. I change the light, export. Now I can't render directly, but I need to use Arnold flash cache. And when I render, here it is. So just keep in mind, if you find it sort of frustrating, the fact that the IBL doesn't work so well out of the box. Let's say you just generate the new texture and then you have the direct connection, as it happened in V-Ray, or even better in Corona Renderer. Now, besides this tip on flashing the cache or on the rotation of the environment with the offset, I'm going to work on the lighting inside my scene. Now, as you see, I'm applying a stencil. There are few of them built in my tool, in Real HDR, but I agree with you on the fact that they have to be extended. In the next release, I'm going to add more. To be honest, there are already more in the project I'm developing. Simply, they are not included in the build. Practically what I'm trying to do is to have the key light on the right, and being the key light small and intense, you see on the render the shadow is on the left of my shader ball. but in the same time the shadow is not so dark and not so desaturated, let's say. You see, the bluish component of the light that is also visible on the shading of my sphere is created by that light on the left. So I'm moving very quickly, I don't have a precise idea in my mind. I would like to say that I don't exclude the possibility to create a script for the pre-render process that is flashing the cache. So instead of flashing manually, now I change the anti-aliasing of the camera, I change the resolution. And yeah, I can start my final render.